Okay, so I'm a freelance. I'm Christina, and I'm a freelance UX and service design consultant. After many years of working for big corporations, both in China and also in England. I'm just going to talk about a case study, which is a service design project I did for a major telecom company. It's all right, yeah. But I'll try to hide it anyway. So basically, we were asked to do to design an end-to-end customer experience for a product they were about to launch. And this experience involved multi-channel, so not only digital channels, but also non-digital channels like call center and retail, these kind of things. And we also asked to design and to evaluate the experience we designed. And so we all knew that it's how to evaluate a digital experience by usability testing and these kind of things. So the challenge for us was really how do we evaluate the non-digital experience. And we tried different things. That's what I'm going to talk about. So not to say they are perfect or or the best, but basically just to tell you what kind of the materials we used and activities we conducted, and hopefully to generate some discussion around this topic. Just a little bit background of this product is basically for any customers, any users who don't have a good signal coverage at home. So it's a small box which they can plug with their broadband connection and to boost their 3G signals at home. The activities we took before the experience prototyping, which was to evaluate the non-digital, the whole experience, was initially we did an interview on 12 users in their home, and those users within 3 different user groups. So one is a family, and also neighbors, and also shared house. So we used the instructed material, and we used some material to have a very structured discussion with them to find out what they would do in the scenario that they can't really have good signal at home, and also ask them to think about what they would do when they're in a similar situation. For example, some users actually mentioned when they were in the country in their parents' house, they had to go to the garden at the back and then using an umbrella to get a good signal. So this is all for us to generate inspirational material to be used in the later stage, discuss with the stakeholders, and also to help us to generate the whole service journey blueprint. And the next thing we did was a stakeholder workshops. Very often we hear that stakeholders are telling us that I know the customer, what customer want already. Why should I listen to you to design the customer experience? And we feel that this co-creation workshop with the stakeholders is very good, to engage them, to contribute in the customer experience, and to make them being friendly to us as well, because they do have a domain knowledge, but they don't have a good way to translate this knowledge into a enjoyable customer experience. And what our role is just to help them to translate their knowledge. So this workshop was quite useful to make them engage and make them being friendly with us. And what they have also, they also know that what kind of thing they could contribute to the whole journey blueprint. The workshop was into 2 different sessions, and after the sessions, what we generated was this customer journey blueprint, basically. And there you can see, I tried to hide all the branding thing, so that on top of this channel, that was a different experience, what the experience should be like. And this side is all those channels, and that is different stages of the customer experience, including aware, and joining up and the use and the develop and the living experience, so the whole end-to-end customer experience. And also this bit is a different channel and touch point. And we use this to basically it's for the future development of the service, and also it's a guideline for us to conduct the prototyping experience prototype. Now is after this. After we have developed this journey blueprint, it comes to that how do we know that what we have designed is right? How do we know it is enjoyable for the customer? So we run through the service experience basically with 7 users at their home. The stages we prototyped basically, like I just mentioned, aware is how the customer found out about this service, and then how they join up, or how they become our customer. And then how easy to set up the box, because as I mentioned before, the box is basically like a small box you have to set up yourself at home. So what about experience of this installation experience? And also how to register. And then after the registration, how do I know if it's working? And also to get help when I'm using it. And also what would be the next step? And also if I move a house, what should I do? So these are the stages we basically figured from all the whole research and the workshop, and we tested all those stages. With aware, basically, I can't show you because it will show you all the brand information, but basically it's a sketch paper advert, and we ask a question by showing them all those paper adverts, and basically is to understand their perception of the brand, and also most importantly, what do they need to know up front. So before they go into the retail, go into the shop to decide to join up this, to buy this product, or to phone our customer service or the telesales department, what do they need to know up front? So what do we have to be prepared to tell them the answers? That was what we did for this, the materials we used, and how we did to find out about this aware stage. The next was how will they join up? We basically, we designed the experience for different channels. They can join up by all sorts of different things. They can join up through going to the store, or they can join up by telephone, the telesales, or they can join up online. And initially we asked the customer, so which channel would you choose? All of them chose to phone the customer service, because they are already our customer. And when there is a problem happened, when they have already become our customer, the initial thinking is to call the customer service. So what we did with the customer service, we designed call center script. During the testing, two of us, one of us actually hiding in a different room and pretend we are the call center, CSR. And we had a telephone conversation with the customer, basically a role play with the customer, and run through the script and ask them, then we got to know what kind of question they would like, and our response to them, did our response, solve their questions. I was actually a great fun for the customer who participated in the testing, because that's quite different from other things they would imagine. What we did for setting up, that I said is quite an important stage for this product. We will actually provide, you can see from this picture, we had this dummy box, which is exactly how the box would arrive in the customer's home, except the packaging. But the packaging design, but it will be in this kind of card box with the product in it. And also that's a dummy box, and also a main supply, and also the cable, and also a small instruction pack. And we ask the customer just to set up. Some of them actually said, "Oh, I don't do this, and my husband take care of anything like that." I'll say, "Okay, fine. But what if your husband is not at home, and you need to set it up to communicate with your husband? So when that's how you receive this box, then what would you do?" And then basically open the box. Okay, I'll have a try, and was actually quite easy in the end. They found the experience very easy, and they were saying, "Okay, that's actually it was easy. Actually, it's better than I thought." Something like that. That's how they set up in the end. And then the next stage registration, we used the paper screens. You can see that basically just the papers and put on the laptop and ask them. That's quite just a lo-fi prototype we're all familiar with, really. But the thing is, and then naturally after this registration, then wondering how do I know if it's working? So with that, we know that we just basically, when they were registering, we actually secretly sent them, after the registration, they were asking, oh, how do I know if it's working? And now they actually receive a text message from us, which we actually sent when they were doing the registration to say, okay, so hello, so this is a Signal Box team, and just to confirm the registration. So we design all those text messages and ask them to feedback what about the signal is like. Then we, with Get Help, develop and living experience. So basically what we did is we used some structure, material like mock-up materials and letters and stickers, these kind of things, and did a discussion with them. Say, just if you're moving out, you have a good signal in your new home, what would you do? And if we have this kind of letter sending to you and asking to post you back, would you really post this box back? And what if we give you some sort of credit back? All those kind of questions. But we did show them all those materials that might be used in the real product. So that was the Get Help, and we actually found that very often that we let me just move on, I've got only 5 minutes. Right, so basically with this, just to summarize what we did for the different stages, the materials we used. With Aware, we use sketching as in-depth discussion to understand what they need to know up front and also the brand perception. And role play with the customer for joining up, and role play we found was quite successful, quite engaging with the customer. And then acting out service. So good thing about acting out is we actually get the opportunity to observe them, how they do things in a real life scenario. And this thing actually inspired us to get a lot of new ideas to feedback in the developed customer journey, and actually we could feedback to the client as well. And then also we used the paper prototype for the registration, and then we used the text message for the confirmation. We found that confirmation was very welcomed, best of all, really, because a lot of customers are actually thinking, well, a lot of business only care about us joining up the service. Once we are the customer, they don't care about us. But by sending them the text message just to say, okay, so how did you find about this service? How did you get your signal you wanted? And then they feel that really they were being looked after. So that was very good feedback from them. And then also we use the discussions by using other materials, stickers, these kind of things for the different stages. So yeah, just something the project manager's feedback, and was quite happy, and so that's what we used, and hopefully that's it really. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Christina. Anybody have any questions for Christina? None? No? Fantastic. Oh yes, down here.
You mentioned that part of your work was to understand how, what kind of questions people would ask or how they would deal with in a call center scenario when they're calling for help, right?
Yes.
Would you see that, then being used by this firm to actually inform, the ways in which such, functions in the business work, such as, does that get passed on to the call center that deals with their problems, etc.? So was that, part of the intention, or was it just, part of the method of understanding what customers need?
It was a real script we designed and actually going to be
Okay.
used in the call center. So that's what we test out if this script is definitely working. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you. Any others? Oh, Rolf?
Sorry, 2 questions.
Yeah.
Has the product been launched at this time? And if it has, is there anything you have learned, something you should have looked at, which you overlooked?
Well, actually, it's not being launched. That's why I actually am not allowed to say which company it is, but I'm sure everyone knows now. But it's not launched. Yeah.
We'll edit the video. Okay. Thank you very much, Christina.
Thank you.